There, is it? Plain as a comet in the sky. Someone's over there at Carfax Castle. Evil looking place. They should have torn it down years ago, stone by stone. It creeps, it does. There, it's the building of the tower. It's enough to show the blood. I know I ever took this job. Great luck! See the life out of me, Miss Bond. You can't sneak up on a man like that. I could have had a heart failure.
If you don't stop talking to yourself, someone is likely to mistake you for one of Dr. Quincy's patients.
I tell you, Miss Bond, someone's over there, moving about at Carfax Castle.
Nonsense. The place has been deserted for years.
I seen the light move by a window.
Imagination.
Imagination? Once, maybe, not 3 times.
3 times tonight, you mean?
I mean, last night and the night before.
Brent, have you been drinking?
Well, certainly not. I never touch spirits.
If there's anyone over there at Carfax Castle, it is likely the children from the village. Up to Mr.
Miss Van, you and I both know the children from that village give this sanatorium and that castle a wide berth.
I'm afraid the patients and their problems are beginning to disturb you, Grim. You're jumpy as a cat.
People with problems are one thing, but patients Dr. Quincy has in this sanatorium are peculiar.
Go along and tend to your duties. Dr. Quincy was upset when he discovered that Renfield had escaped from his room again.
I don't know how he does it. I lock him in and he gets out. You know what he asked me to get him?
Only the housekeeper here. I have no interest in the patients apart from their comfort.
He asked me to fetch him a nice, fat spider.
That's enough. Go along.
Lights and old castles, lunatics ask me for spiders. What's next?
What on earth is the matter with Grim?
His work is getting to him, I'm afraid.
I hope he's not thinking of resigning. How does East come by? I hear he's rather good with Renfield.
Renfield leads him a merry chase. How is Miss Lucy?
Can't seem to find anything wrong with her. Anything definite. The poor thing is so drained of energy. She's so tired and listless. Sleeps most of the day.
Probably a bug of some sort or other. I imagine she'll be back on her feet in no time.
My brother's quite worried. We'll have to postpone the wedding. She's in no state to go through all that. I had to call the photographer in London to cancel her appointment. He was quite put out.
Ah, there you are. Any news of Arthur?
He was turning in the gate when I came downstairs. Nina's going to see him.
Will you be wanting anything else, Mrs. Westover?
If I want anything, I'll ring.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen Grim, Miss Van?
He was here just a moment ago, sir. Said he sold lights at Carfax Castle.
Nonsense.
That's what I said, ma'am.
If you see him again, tell him we should speak with him. This whole escape business with Renfield has me concerned.
I'll attend to it at once, Dr. Quincy.
Renfield is your favorite patient?
And so few patients in residence at the moment.
Are you going to write a book about him?
Perhaps. His case is most unique. You know, he has voices directing his every move.
Please spare me the clinical report. The sanatorium aspect of our family estate I leave entirely to you.
But you might be interested.
Oh, I hope I didn't seem rude. I'm just so worried about Lucy.
As am I. Baffled by a malady.
You don't think it's anything terribly serious, do you?
Let's see how she's feeling in the morning.
Come on, Arthur. You'll do wonders for Lucy. She's been asking about you.
Good, he's here.
So good to see you, Arthur. How is she?
You must be tired after your drive from London.
Not in the least.
There's nothing to worry about.
It's not the impression I got when you called yesterday.
Lucy was close to being in a coma.
A coma?
We thought it best to call you.
I'm glad you did.
The wedding plans will have to be delayed.
It's Lucy's health I'm concerned about.
Mina, you've been a tremendous help. I couldn't have managed without you. The planning, the invitations, now the delay.
You know how Jonathan and I feel about Lucy. She's a dear friend.
You're sure there's no cause for alarm?
At the moment, it would seem my niece is suffering from some sort of anemia. So that there's a deficiency in her red blood cells.
I've never known her to be anemic.
That's the mystery. It all came on so suddenly. Don't you worry, my boy. We'll have her back to her old self in no time.
That's good to hear. I'll go up and see her.
No, let her rest. See her in the morning.
Do you think it best? What do you hear of Mr. Harker? If I said something wrong,
I'm afraid that her husband has suffered a misfortune.
There. Jonathan will be home soon, under the best of care.
misfortune.
He's been in Europe on business,
Yes, I know.
somewhere in the Carpathian Mountains of Transylvania.
Transylvania.
It's a remote region in Romania.
I received one letter from him from an inn located in some place called Borgos Pass. traveling on to meet a nobleman who wanted to find property here for him. He had contacted Jonathan's law firm.
And then what?
After that letter, nothing.
You mean he disappeared?
I was frantic. No word for him. My letters went unanswered. Then, this.
What is it?
It's from Dr. Bartok. Dear Mrs. Harker, I write at the request of your husband, who is not strong enough to do so himself. He has been under my care, suffering from brain fever.
Brain fever? Poor Jonathan.
Your husband has had some fearful shock. In his delirium, his ravings were dreadful. Words such as wolves, blood, vampires, and I dare not say what else.
Hard to believe.
Dr. Bartok in Budapest. Amazing man. He made all the arrangements.
For keeping Jonathan in Budapest.
No, for returning him here to my care.
Won't you, Mrs. Sister? It distresses me to read it.
We would have written earlier, but knew nothing of his origin. He came by train from Transylvania. The conductor reports that he rushed into the station, shouting for a ticket to England. Seeing his agitated state, they brought him to my hospital. Be assured your husband is well cared for. No doubt he'll be ready to travel in a few weeks.
Extraordinary. What could have happened in those mountains?
I don't know. I'm so grateful to you, Dr. Quincy. I think I would have gone to pieces if it wasn't for your support. Jonathan, now Lucy, it's like a curse.
Minor setback to our mutual good fortune. Nothing more. What matters is that Lucy is within my care and Jonathan soon will be.
Did I hear correctly? Vampires?
That region is riddled with superstition and folklore. When something has disturbed the mind, all sorts of hallucinations can take form and become real.
Jonathan will be home tomorrow.
That is good news.
Dr. Bartok is sending a nurse along. Jonathan is too ill to travel by himself.
Once he's back on the soil of England, he'll be fit enough.
Good gracious! What is that?
It sounded like a wolf.
There are no wolves in England.
More than likely some wild dog.
Quite so. Still, wish we hadn't heard it.
Why do you say that?
Any unusual sounds in the vicinity of this area tend to make my brother's guests a bit restless.
Renfield becomes agitated.
Just a wild dog, I tell you, probably foraging for food.
You won't be finding anything on the grounds of Carfax Castle. The place is barren with nothing but thorn bushes and weeds.
I don't know what your uncle is going to say this. I'm feeling so much better. It's Lucy.
Cora, I gave you strict instructions that Lucy was to remain in her room.
She wouldn't listen to me, Dr. Quincy.
Don't scold Flora and don't scold me, Uncle. I am better. And besides, I didn't want to greet Arthur looking pale and wan in a sickbed.
Must have disobeyed my orders.
I would have seen you in the morning.
Everyone is making too much of a fuss. I'm feeling stronger. Really, I am.
You better sit down.
No. Come sit here. You'll be able to stretch out. No need. Mother knows best.
You better do what she says.
Seems I don't have much choice.
Beg pardon, Dr. Quincy.
What is it, Glenn?
Well, it's Renfield. He's acting up. Bert says you'd better come along.
You knew that how it would cause trouble.
I trust the animals and rabbit.
I think some soup and a cup of hot tea will do wonders for this.
I'm not hungry.
Doctor's orders.
I'll see to it at once.
No need. I'll tend to it.
You can see where I'm going to have my hands full with you. I insist on good health.
Arthur, you're better than all the medicine my uncle had in his cabinets. Come along, Flora. We'll give them a moment to learn.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you might get me an afghan, Flora. It's a relief to be someplace besides my bedroom.
Right away, Miss Lucy.
Thank you. Do you see how they treat me? As if I were a child.
We're all concerned for you. Are you certain you're feeling better?
I am. It's just that I've been so weak. At night, I fall into a deep sleep, yet when I wake in the morning, it's as if I haven't slept at all. I'm exhausted. Are you awfully disappointed about postponing the wedding?
I'm
disappointed about your condition.
Oh, I'll be strong now that you're here, I promise. How long are you staying?
As long as you need me.
Dr. Quincy wonders if he might have a word with you in private, Miss Neville.
Well, I don't want to leave Miss Lucy.
I'll stay with her.
Oh, go along, both of you.
No, I insist.
Ah, well, here's Flora. I won't be alone now.
I won't be long.
Warm now.
Too warm. Leave the Afghan, I may not need it.
You don't want to catch a chill.
You're being ridiculous, Flora. It's stifling in here. I can hardly breathe. Open the garden doors.
I don't think your uncle would approve.
Open the doors, I said!
Yes, miss.
That's better. I can breathe again. I think I can sleep now. Tell Mrs. Harker I'll take the soup later.
I'll sit in here with you.
No need. Turn down the lights.
Are you comfortable, Miss Lucy?
Yes. Do you hear it, Flora?
You're what, miss?
That sound. Like great soft wings moving towards the house.
No, miss. I didn't hear anything. Miss Lucy?
Listen to the tilting of the night. What music made.
I was afraid you'd never return.
Night unto night I will be.
Night into night.
Then only the beginning.
I do wish Mrs. Westenra would keep track of her knitting needles. She loses as many as she finds.
Perhaps she was knitting in some other room.
She said she lost it in here.
Everyone's a mite confused. Poor Miss Lucy taken ill and Mr. Harker expected at any moment. I do admire that Mrs. Harker. A brave soul.
I give up. I can't find it.
If you ask me, Dr. Quincy is out of his element with Miss Lucy.
What's a thing to say?
Miss Lucy has something physical. Dr. Quincy is used to dealing with the mind. I heard him tell his sister he was thinking of consulting a specialist.
Shouldn't eavesdrop, Flora.
Can't tell Terry what I hear. Besides, I hope he does consult a specialist. Miss Lucy hasn't met herself at all. I don't mean what with being weak and sleepy.
What do you mean then?
I mean she's different sometimes.
Different? What gibberish?
You know how kind she is. And gentle.
Indeed I do. A lovely young woman.
Every once in a while she flashes angry and the voice becomes harsh, almost cruel. Sometimes I have to turn around and look at her. I'm not certain it's Miss Lucy who's speaking.
When people aren't feeling themselves, they have a tendency to be irritable.
Maybe. Still, I do wish Dr. Quincy would call in that specialist.
Oh, it's quite a hike back from the village.
Why were you in the village?
Wednesday, you know, Wednesday's always my day for the village. I visited my brother.
Does he still work on the wharves?
Oh, where else would he work? That boy was raised by the sea, and I suspect he'll die by the sea. Someone against a man's blood. Oh, the whole village is in state.
What about?
Maritime inquiries. You know that ship that came into harbor last week?
It's in quarantine, isn't it?
Not any longer. The vessel was from Finland carrying cargo from a port from some place called Transylvania. 3 of the men died.
From what?
Anybody's guess. Seems the crew had the eerie feeling someone or something was stolen.
What do you mean, something?
I'm only repeating what my brother told me. 2 of the men simply disappeared. One was crying out before he was lost for good.
Crying out?
Save me! Save me! They never found a trace of the man. Overboard, apparently. It seems most of the crew are suffering from anemia.
Just like Miss Lucy.
I haven't even told you the best part. Or worst. Now you look at it.
There's more.
One of the sailors raised a tall, thin man.
Walking the deck. Seems Dr. Quincy will be having a few more guests.
No, the truly interesting part is the cargo. Or part of it, at least.
What about the cargo?
4 coffins.
You said coffin.
I did. And when the harbor authorities pried open the cover of one of the coffins, what do you think they found?
Nothing, I hope.
Filled almost to the top. It's foul, smelly. Oh, fancy. Shipping dirt halfway across the continent.
Who would do such a thing?
Our neighbor.
Neighbor,
The consignment was addressed to Carfax Castle. It's been sold to some foreign gentleman.
Grim did say he sold rights at Carfax Castle. But surely the new owner hasn't already taken up residence.
Well, I want to know about that. My brother sent a cousin's report listed 4 carpenter boxes containing gardening good. It must be about my duties. I'll be in Dr. Quincy's study with you.
I don't like the sound of that.
foreigners have strange habits.
There's healthy strange and there's unhealthy strange. What Nurse Cassidy just described is not healthy.
Best not to tell Miss Lucy. It would only upset her.
Dr. Quincy promised me a spider.
Into that disgusting Mr.
You
Renfield.
mind your tongue. Remember, he's a guest. So go and fetch Grim. Tell him Renfield's out again.
I don't see why we don't just give him a key to the front door.
Now, Mr. Renfield, you know you're not allowed in this part of the house. What's that? What are you doing?
Mine!
What have you got there, Renfield?
All mine!
I'm going to get Dr. Quincy.
What the hell did you do? Go away! Leave me be. I have enforcement plans.
Dr. Quincy, sir!
What, again? How do you do it, Renfield? You're a regular Houdini.
You aren't gonna take her away from me, are you?
What?
He's caught another fly.
He's mine, I tell you!
Come on, Renfield, let's have that fly.
No!
Oh, that is a revolting habit you've got there, Renfield. You and them insects. What is the disturbance?
Mr. Renfield.
Grim, you've got to keep a better watch on him. I tried, Dr. Quincy, but he's in and out like one of the flies he fancies.
I don't want flies, I want spiders. Nice, fat spiders.
Oh, you will excuse me, Doctor. I have things to attend to.
Go along. Tell me, Renfield, why do you wish for spiders?
Spiders are stronger than flies.
I've seen Baldy once before. Renfield hasn't beat by a mile.
What do you mean what's going on?
What do you mean by that?
Ask Miss Lucy.
Why should I ask my niece anything as far as you're concerned?
Give me a spider, don't tell him.
Take him to his room, stay with him. I'll send Cassidy with a sedative.
I don't want a sedative, I want a spider!
Come on, Renfield, let's go.
Did you hear the wolves? If you only knew.
Betty, bye.
Curious case.
Sorry to intrude. You are Dr. Quincy?
I am.
I'm Miss Armia from the Bartlett's Hospital in Budapest.
Delighted you're here.
Where is he?
With his wife. He met us outside. He brightened immediately, so I thought it best to come on ahead.
Love of unions can do as much as medicine in these cases.
I have his records here.
Thank you. I'll study these with great interest. I appreciate Dr. Bartol's concern. How is John?
He's made tremendous progress, but he's still a dangerously ill man.
How sad. We must bring him around. I appreciate your staying on the case for some time if you wouldn't interfere with your plans.
I do not plan to go back to Romania until the first of the month.
Splendid. I'll have many questions.
I'm at your service.
I'm confident you'll be most comfortable here.
You are most kind.
No idea how I've dreamed of this moment.
You're home, dear. Your worries are over.
Jonathan, so good to see you. Come, sit down, sit down. It's good of you to want me here, Dr. Quincy.
Rest is what you need. You'll get it here.
Miss Anya has been an angel, and Dr. Bartok is a saint. I don't like to think what would have become of me without their help.
You're back home, Mr. Harper, with your loved ones. Think healthy thoughts. Not dwell on the darker side of man's nature.
You rang, sir?
This is Miss Anya from Budapest. Get her a room, make sure that she's made comfortable.
If you'll follow me, miss.
Feel free to consult with me whenever necessary, Dr. Quincy.
I shall.
What an odd thing to say. Do not dwell on the darker side of man's nature.
She's been a tower of strength.
Brain fever can't be most serious.
I couldn't convince Dr. Bartok that my ravings were anything more than delusions.
Whatever happened in Romania, you must put it out of your mind.
No, I advise against that. Delusions locked up tight have a tendency to fester. I should like to hear what happened on your trip.
Is that wise?
You must leave these matters to me. Here with friends and wife, Jonathan should feel relaxed and safe. Please, sit down.
I don't like to recall that trip.
I insist.
I'll try. I went to arrange the sale of Carfax Castle to an obscure nobleman.
His name?
Dracula. Count Dracula. The people in the vicinity of his ancient castle were terrified of the name. They said he and his wives were...
Continue.
I think I'm getting a headache.
You mustn't be evasive, Jonathan. What did the people say about this Count Dracula and his wives?
They said they were vampires.
Superstition.
I put them down as being a little more than ignorant peasants.
You saw this Count.
His carriage, then.
Carriage? You mean car? Automobile?
No, carriage. Horse-drawn. That part of the world is like a page from history. The roads are a little more than rutted paths. He terrified me from the moment I saw him. I could think nothing but vampire. At first, everything seemed routine. Never saw him in the daytime, with no mirrors in his fortress. Then, it happened.
It?
My meals were always brought to me by Count Dracula himself. I don't believe there were any servants at his castle. I was shaving. I cut myself as he walked into the room with the tray. He saw the blood. He dropped the tray. The sight of blood turned him into something hideous. His lips rolled back, his teeth were like fangs. I can't go on, I won't go on!
Cassidy! Cassidy!
Jonathan, it's all right. You're safe.
I was his prisoner!
Better send it for Mr. Harker. It'll calm you down, you'll sleep.
I don't want to sleep. I have dreams. Don't just stand there, do as I say!
Yes, Doctor.
You spoke of dreams.
Must this continue?
One reoccurring dream. I see, standing in the moonlight, 3 young women with masses of lovely hair, all with pointed white teeth and dark, dark red lips. They called to me. They whispered together. Whispers that could never come through human lips.
What happened to him?
Not uncommon in such cases, a temporary state of blocking recall.
I don't understand.
His mind simply refuses to accept the validity of what he's saying, hence he blocks it out. My job will be to remove the blocks. There. That should do.
Hold on, Doctor. Better come along. I can't do a thing with Glenfield. He's beginning to upset the other patients.
You better come along too, Nurse Cassidy. We may need you.
You must think me mad. I know how it must sound to you.
Rest.
I think I'd like to go to my room now. Did you get Miss Anya?
Are you all right?
I'll be fine.
I will leave you alone.
How dare you touch him! Any of you! I have one for Jonathan Harker. When I am done with him, you shall have him in your power. Until then, he is mine! Go! Jonathan Harker, away. I command it.
You!
Do not interfere with my plans. If you do, I promise your life will be never-ending torment. Be warned, there are bad dreams for those who sleep unwisely.
Did I dream again? Thank you. Dracula. Dr. Quincy, Miss Anya! He's here! He's here!
What's wrong, sir?
He's here! He's out there!
Who, sir?
Don't go out there!
Jonathan, what's happening?
He's out there, I tell you!
Laura, close the doors.
Yes, sir.
Sit down, Jonathan. It's no reaction to the injection.
I tell you, they were in here! Dracula and his wives!
You were dreaming.
No, I was not dreaming! Can't you understand? He's here! Count Dracula! We're doomed, Dr. Quincy! All doomed! Dracula is here!
Such a lovely day outside. Wouldn't you rather sit in the sun, Miss Anya?
I've been consulting with your brother and Professor Van Helsing.
Are they still locked in discussion?
Deep discussion.
I'd hope the professor would see to Lucy immediately.
He wants to make sure he has all the data first in order to make an assumption.
And what if her assumption is proven wrong?
Then I presume he'll recheck his assumption data.
Oh, it's all beyond me. Professors, nurses, doctors, assumptions, data, and still Lucy is pale and drained of energy.
You must trust Professor Van Helsing.
I hear he's something of a marvel of his field.
True.
What is her field exactly?
Professor Van Helsing is a specialist in obscure afflictions that attack the mind as well as the body.
I'm sorry I asked.
Taking Lucy down to the garden. She'll enjoy the sun.
Did she feel up to it?
Well, she was terribly weak this morning.
Again?
But I persuaded her to have breakfast.
Her appetite was good.
Well, she ate nothing but the beefsteak. Almost wolfed it down. Blood rare.
Better than nothing. I'll go see her.
What of Mr. Harker?
He had a quiet night once he was put to bed.
Hate to see him in such a condition. He was always sound as a bell.
You seem to be suggesting all possibilities, Professor Van Helsing.
I'm greatly disturbed by what I've been hearing.
About Lucy?
The aura of sinister forces that appear to be gathering about this sanatorium.
Whatever are you talking about?
Jonathan Harper's story.
Brain fever, I thought.
This nobleman, Dracula.
A legend from my country. A legend to frighten children who are unruly. If you don't behave, Dracula will get you.
We have tale told by the harbor master, and their phantom ship, coffins delivered to the neighboring estate. Ghosts.
Will you see Lucy now?
Directly.
Shall we join her in the garden?
That won't be necessary, Arthur. I'm right here.
Stay in the sun. It'll do you good. Put color in your face.
The brightness hurts my eyes. I prefer shadows.
Please, if you be so kind.
I've heard so much about you, Professor Van Helsing.
And I of you, Miss Lucy. I shall wish to speak with your Redfield.
You visit in his room whenever you're ready.
No, I would prefer to see him here, in more informal surroundings. It will relieve him of some of his anxiety.
Miss Anya, if you'd be so kind, fetch him. He's probably in the solarium at this hour.
I will find them.
I am told by your uncles that this weakness came upon you about a week ago.
Yes.
Such apart from a general feeling of apathy and weakness.
At first I suspected the hepatitis, then the anemia.
Please, Dr. Quincy, do not interrupt.
Sorry.
You had no complaints.
Except for the dream.
Ah, yes, the dream. Tell me, Miss Lucy, what do you see in your dream?
I dread worrying those I love. Still, I must confess to you and my uncle and Arthur that I have been very troubled.
The dream. Tell me about the dream.
I sleepwalk in the dream. I knew I was dreaming that first night I rose from my bed, yet I didn't quite dream. It all seemed so real. Then I have a vague memory of something approaching me, something that spoke in a soft but frightening voice. It had red eyes, and I was compelled to look into them, even though I tried to turn away.
Yes, yes.
I felt as if I was sinking into a stagnant pool of water. My soul seemed to leave my body, and I felt lost, so alone and lost.
This dream repeats itself?
Every night, when I fall into a deep sleep. Only now.
Only now what?
That something that approaches me no longer frightens me. I seem to wait anxiously for the sound of its voice. I don't want to think about it.
Does she have to go on?
I have heard enough of this dream. Tell me, Miss Lucy, is that scarf around your neck, does it by any chance conceal two strange marks on your throat?
How did you know?
Remove the scarf, please. Observe Dr. Quincy, Mr. Homewood. You will notice the mark has the appearance of a puncture by some two-fanged viper.
I had an accident with the jewelry pin. I didn't think it was worth bothering about.
You ought to be, Doctor. Bring Renfield in again.
She's been quite moody this morning. Quite.
Never mind about that. See to him.
Probably didn't get out again.
I think I'd like to go back outside now. I considered the shade of the big tree. It's cool there. Dark.
If you want any more information, Professor Van Helsing?
Later, I think the fresh air in your company would prove beneficial.
Well, it's the first sensible thing you've said all day. Come along, Lucy.
Strange. It's a warm day. We couldn't keep Lucy from the sun.
You see no connection between your niece's dream and the hallucinations of Jonathan Harper?
See a strong connection. I'm not sure what it means.
As a colleague, allow me to contradict you. But you mean to say that your professional training, your intelligence, your very sanity rebels at the thoughts of vampirism?
Vampirism. You can't be serious.
How is it you never noticed those marks on her niece's throat?
A clumsy oversight on my part, inexcusable.
No, my friend, you did not see them because Miss Lucy did not wish for you to see them. Recall her words. That's something that approaches me. No longer frightens you.
Seem to wait anxiously for the sound of its voice.
Precisely.
Lucy's falling under the influence of a vampire. Is that what you mean to say?
I fear something more evil than that.
What? You must tell me!
Here he is. This Kelsey said he wouldn't take his morning bath.
I don't like water.
You mind your manners.
That's enough, Grim.
Big one, Doctor. Behave.
I know you. I know all about you. You're the famous professor. I heard the nurses talking. Who do you any good? You study me. I'm cured. I'm over my problem.
Delighted to hear that, Mr. Redfield. Be so good as to sit down.
Why not? You're wasting your time, though.
You've lost your appetite for flies and spiders.
Who wants flies and spiders? Beauty thing.
Am I to understand you're now interested in bigger game?
I don't have to tell you anything.
Quite true.
I used to think that if I fed the fly to the spider would be twice as strong.
You believed you could absorb strength by ingesting it. Never mind, the important thing is that you no longer have this compulsion.
That's right.
Why don't you apply the second this time? He's changed.
He's promised me that if I serve him faithfully, one day I'll be as he is.
Who do you speak of?
Master. I said too much. You warned me about that.
You can trust me. Dr. Quincy and I are your friends.
I don't want friends. I don't need friends. You'll see. You'll all see when it happens.
Are we in danger from something?
I've said enough.
Step over here. To the light, Mr. Renfield. I should like to check your eyes.
No.
It's going to be hard, but I promise you.
No, no.
As I say, Mr. Renfield.
Don't let him take me!
That's no way to act for a professor. You go along and do as she says. Ah! Renfield, stop that at once! Oh, he's a wicked one. See, he's like a mad dog.
My questions seem to have upset him.
Taking away our privileges, Renfield.
I apologize.
Yes, so we're so contrite after we've been up to some mischief. Take him to the hydrotherapy.
No!
If you don't do as I say, I will make arrangements with your family to have you transferred from my sanatorium.
No, I must stay here. I must stay close to Carfax Castle.
Fine. Mr. Renfield, I asked you a question.
Oh, do you know, good professor? Not waiting to one of the salts. Come along, Renfield. Go on.
Carfax Castle will be the adjoining estate.
20 acres surrounded by a solid stone wall.
Something of a fortress.
Suppose you might say that, yes.
Is it not also the same property Jonathan Harker represented when he journeyed to Transylvania?
Are you suggesting my neighbor's a vampire?
I am not suggesting it. I am declaring it. Remember, my friend, you called me here. Because you, with all your talent as a medical man, could not diagnose your niece's malady. I tell you, she is the victim of a vampire. Even the behavior of Renfield is symptomatic of a larger evil.
There must be a way to explain this logically, sensibly.
The vampire's strength lies in the fact that so few believe in its existence.
Insist on proof, it's the prerogative of the scientific mind.
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Quincy. I thought you were in your study. I should have gone my way of the garden.
You're not disturbing us, Flora.
I'm taking Miss Lucy her sewing.
One moment. Ma'am, you are Miss Lucy's personal maid?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, Flora, have you noticed any changes in Miss Lucy?
I have. Poor thing's not herself at all.
I mean, changes in her personality. Any apparent shift from one mood to the next?
Well,
You may speak freely in front of us. Professor back closer.
Miss Lucy has an appetite. I won't deny that. She gets angry at little things. This morning, I saw her throw her handwear across the room and smashed it into 100 pieces. It was like she couldn't bear to look at herself. She was always fond of that mirror.
Thank you, Flora. That will be all.
I do hope she'll be better soon.
So do I.
You attach some significance to the mirror.
You will visit this house tonight.
Who?
Who else? Dracula.
I don't know what to believe.
You want the proof? Tonight you shall have it. Tonight I will prove to you that Dracula is one of the undead.
Oh, I wish I knew what was happening. I'd never seen such goings-on. I thought the professor was someone of common sense. I thought she could diagnose Lucy and set her on the path to good health.
After working in this place for almost a year, I expected the same. However, garlic buds are unusual.
Do sit down, Nurse Cassidy. I'm developing a phobia of being alone.
Hot tea might calm you down.
I don't want any tea. I want a simple explanation of all of this mumbo-jumbo.
The professor believes your daughter is being surprised by bats.
Oh, bats.
They had somehow managed to get into the house and then bites Miss Lucy.
Is that your idea of humor, Nurse Cassidy?
I'm only telling the truth.
Oh, bats! Oh, bats! I've never heard such idiocy. I shall have a talk with my brother.
You carried out your assignment, Nurse Cassidy.
I spread enough garlic around to open an Italian restaurant.
Let us tacit that garlic is the surest protection.
Miss Anya, I demand an explanation. What is all of this talk about of bats?
The bats, Mrs. Westenra, a vampire.
Vampire?
Vampire bat. No, like the ones that have in South America. Sounds like
A human vampire.
sounds like something Dr. Harper would say.
At one time in my country, belief in such creatures was quite common. Even today in rural areas, people swear they've seen them.
Surely you don't believe in them.
I've had patients who believe in them. Perhaps Professor Van Helsing is carrying out an elaborate charade in hopes of shocking Miss Lucy back into normalcy.
You haven't answered my question.
Dr. Bartok did not believe in such creatures.
Do you?
Yes,
What next?
What is a human vampire?
a creature that arises each evening from its coffin, eyes burning with hypnotic intensity, thirsty for blood.
Blood.
It's a sort of vampire strength.
Strength.
Not mock the idea of dead souls returning to Earth, Mrs. Westenra. People have believed in ghosts since the ages of ancestor worship.
Ah, yes, our English goes to a pig.
That cannot be said of a vampire.
Mrs. Stedra! Mrs. Stedra!
He's fainted.
I can see that. Is it any wonder? All this talk about vampires? Mrs. Stedra! Mrs. Stedra!
She's coming around. All this talk of bats and vampires. I think I'd better lie down.
Come along with me. Nice enough.
I've been thinking of renting a small flat in London. I think now is the time.
Something wrong.
Everything under control, Dr. Quincy.
I'm afraid my explanation of vampires has disturbed your sister.
Should have anticipated her reaction. Don't suppose she's in danger.
We are all in danger, Dr. Quincy. I believe, however, that Dracula's interest and attention focuses solely on Miss Lucy for the moment.
I have followed your orders, Professor.
Excellent. Were you able to find any wild roses? None, Quincy. Wild roses are particularly offensive to the night creatures.
I do hope you know what you're doing. This all seems so fanciful.
Be so kind as to bring me the small chest you'll find in the set. It's on the desk.
Yes, Professor.
Garlic, wild roses.
They all have their place in dealing with vampires. Garlic, wolfbane, wild roses. The signs of an evil eye all play a part.
Don't understand why you have involved Mina and Arthur.
They too must play a part. Both are deeply involved. Loved ones are at stake. A most apt choice of a word.
Steak, like for a vampire's heart.
Precisely. It is the one sure thing that will destroy him. Forever.
What do you have, Professor Van Helsing?
As you requested.
Excellent. Please proceed.
Here you are, Professor.
Thank you. I would appreciate it if you kept a close watch on Mr. Parker.
I will save him.
You're not serious, Professor, about this vampire thing.
You must free your mind from the restraints and convention. I tell you such things as vampires do exist, and that Count Dracula is such a creature.
Shouldn't we call the police?
So tell them what? It is a supernatural effect here. Police have no weapons against that.
What makes you think Dracula will come to the house?
Miss Lucy's scream. He has visited the house every night. Only tonight, when he discovers precautions have been made against him, he will know he's met his match.
In that case, why didn't he sneak away into the night?
Vanity. Remember, he rented Carfax Castle. He made no secret of that. He's brazen, brilliant, cold. So the Dracula name is a noble name.
What are we to do?
I must determine the reason for being here in England. Once I've determined that, I don't know more course of action.
Listen.
A wolf.
Companion of the creature.
Professor, I've been doing some reading in the library. I've come across an affliction known as porphyris. Very often the victims are thought to be vampires.
In times past, yes, not today. A person afflicted with Orpheus can often appear fluorescent at the nails and teeth. He is lethargic and weak, sensitive to light. As the victim does go out, it is usually after dark. Such cases are often found in remote parts. It is a convenient way to explain the vampire legend.
You have described many of Lucy's symptoms.
I assure you, this malady is not the cause of this illness, nor is the man I speak of a victim of this treatable disease.
We'll do what you say. We must. After what Jonathan's been through, I can believe anything.
I don't think he'll show up.
Beg pardon, Dr. Quincy.
What is it, Miss Fern?
Well, it's a gentleman, sir. Come to pay his compliments. Your neighbor, he says. A foreign-looking man? Well, gave me quite a start, he did. Standing in the moonlight at the door.
His name?
Count Dracula.
Show him in.
He has come to laugh at us. He must be on our guard. He'll be watching us as much as we will be watching him. We must not let him know we're afraid.
It'll be embarrassing if you prove it wrong.
Count Dracula.
I trust my arriving unannounced will not be an inconvenience. I am thus Miss Dracula.
Do come in. This is Arthur, my niece's fiancé.
Delighted.
Miss Harker, good friend.
Charmed.
And this is Professor Van Helsing.
I know the name.
I never thought I would come face to face with a Transylvanian nobleman.
Now you know better.
I haven't introduced myself.
Dr. Quincy, the noted psychiatrist.
I'm flattered you know my name.
When I entered Beckman Castle, I took the trouble to inquire of my name.
Won't you sit down, Count?
Most kind, Harker. I seem to know that name too.
Will you be having dinner with us this evening, Count?
I have already dined.
A glass of wine.
I don't drink wine.
How do you find England?
So unlike my homeland in the Carpathian Mountains.
Yours is an old name, a proud name.
I am the direct descendant of Vlad the Impaler. We of the House of Dracula have a right to recount our past. For in our veins flow the blood of many brave nations who fought at the lion's fight for abortion.
That was many centuries ago when the Dracula name was in its glory.
Time was nothing for Dracula.
Surely you can't be comfortable at Carfax Castle.
I find this place restful.
Any plans for renovation?
None.
What appeals to you about the place?
Its brooding quality, its isolation. I require solitude, and I particularly fond of the cemetery.
It's so neglected you can't even make out the markers on the graves.
It lends a certain charm.
What about the wolves? They appear to be foraging on the grounds of Carfax Castle.
My dear Mrs. Hartford, everyone knows there are no wolves in England.
We heard... Why have you left your homeland?
I enjoy travel.
Did you fly?
Is that so amusing?
I came by ship.
What do you intend to do here in England?
Rejuvenate myself. I grew weak in my mountains. The land has become barren. Nothing grows but twisted trees. The people grow old. The blood in their veins as weak as water. The young have left. The climate is bad.
Ow!
What's wrong?
Seemed to be one of Mrs. Westenra's knitting needles. I've cut my finger. It's bleeding.
Take care! To cut yourself is more dangerous than you think.
The job wasn't that deep.
That's
That's what we necessary. Count Dracula. Arthur, have one of the nurses see to it.
You're all making a terrible fuss.
Please do as I say. Have one of the nurses attend to it.
All right.
I hope you'll excuse me, Count. I'm not feeling well. I have a fierce headache.
We shall meet again. Some evening.
You'd better see to her, Dr. Quincy.
Close your eyes.
The room is empty. It's rather.
You said you knew my name.
I have read much about your work. Even in Transylvania, you're well known.
I find that flattering, but my work deals mainly with the outer regions of the mind. As they affect the body, I have an inordinate interest in them curiously.
I know.
I have something here that will interest a man of your sensibility. From Venice. Very old.
I'm fond of antiquities.
The back was encrusted with gold by no less than an artist, Cellini himself.
What is it?
A mirror! How remarkable, Count Dracula! You seem to cast no reflection in the glass.
So, you know as I am.
I do.
Beware, it is unwise to know too much of Dracula.
I know I will destroy you and with you your evil.
It is you who has barred me from Miss Lucy's room. Take care, she is soon to die with Dracula.
Is that your grand scheme in coming to England?
It will amuse me to tell you that I wasted as much time as I dared in my homeland. I will need a place where people will laugh at the idea of a vampire.
New land. We can breathe again. Where we can breathe again. Grow strong. Grow strong. Lead us, Dracula. Lead us, Dracula. We follow. We follow. We obey. We obey.
This is what you will have Miss Lucy become.
You know nothing of my world.
I know I will conquer.
Never. 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 Never.
Never!
The
know too much to live by, Elsie. So you and the others who usually race against me, you must frustrate me my design. You shall be sorry one in this house. Tonight I will claim you as I claim loose your agenda. Tonight, when the clock strikes midnight, all evil things in this world will have full sway. Time is on my side and I shall be back.
Make no attempt to follow him.
Saw with my own eyes.
You want
It's
it.
hard to believe.
Now you have your proof.
What do we do now?
We must prepare for the upcoming battle.
You must do your best, Miss Cassidy.
Staff is doing everything in its power, sir. The guests have never been this rested.
Leaving the entire hospital wing up to you. I'm counting on you.
I've seen them behave like tonight. They don't sleep, they complain. They're irritable.
Do what you can.
Yes, Dr. Pussy.
I have had enough of this game of bats and mouse. I've made up my mind.
It's about.
I think I should take the small flat in London.
This is hardly the time to discuss that.
I think Lucy should come with me.
What? It'll be absurd. Why aren't you in your room?
It's horrid in there. Your vampire hunters have got garden buds at the window, bushels at the door. How is anybody supposed to sleep in such an atmosphere?
Sleep is not the issue, Mrs. Westenra. Survival is.
You're serious about all this?
Afraid we are. You better return to your room.
Do not open your doors for anyone, not even me. Do not leave your room until the sun is up. Your life may depend on it.
Poor thing. This is all beyond her. There is one consolation, though. No sign of Dracula.
How about that is?
Somewhere outside.
The wolves are getting closer.
The hour of battle nears.
He's still out there.
Dracula? No, Renfin. He's out again?
Why's the garden gates? You observed him, as I asked?
He was talking to someone.
Who?
I couldn't see. There wasn't enough moonlight.
Observe, Dr. Quincy. You will notice Renfield turns his head now and again, as if someone were following.
I'll ring for Grim.
No! We'll conceal ourselves and observe. Quickly!
Enter, Master, enter. I'll do everything you say. I will obey. I am here to do your bidding. I have been waiting for you. And you will not fail me. Now, you will reward me, won't you? I will do as you command, and you will not pass me by, will you, Master? You will share with me. You will let me become one with the night. I will do as you ask. Oh, lovely new creature! Oh, lovely bat! I obey! I obey!
Dracula! He's in the house! We must discover where.
How can we witness a part to turn himself into a winged rodent and turn invisible?
We have made the Beckman safe against his entry. We each carry a small cross for protection. Against the cross, he is powerless. We must find and destroy him. First, there is Lucy.
We must be ready.
We must be ready. When Dracula calls.
When Dracula calls.
The time is near.
The time is near.
When I catch that Renfield, I'll think I'll have two bold Jake. Certainly got some ears. Big one, ladies.
He is young.
He is young.
Healthy.
Healthy. Strong.
Strong.
I don't believe I've seen you here before. President Dr. Quincy, are you? Haven't seen a funny fellow by the name of Renfield, have you?
Now!
Disgusting! Disgusting! Help!
Yes, yes, my children. I hear. All is well.
You! Monster!
I'm naive, the professor that helps you think buds of garden and clusters of wood bacon defeats me. I have the power. I want to draw those close to me whenever I desire. Miss Anya, I trust is deep in slumber.
Haven't you done enough to me?
Even I, in this strange land, have limitations. I will need someone to move out for the daytime. Someone to handle my affairs.
I curse the day I set my eyes on you.
I have been studying much about your country, Jonathan. I wish to know it thoroughly. To share's life is death. And all that makes it what it is.
To drain it dry.
In a manner of speaking, only when I know as much as I wish will I fly home on the estate you have found me.
I will never help you.
You cannot resist my will.
I can. I must.
They are doomed. Each one in the house who opposes me. I reward you. I am generous of those who serve me.
I want nothing from you. I will not serve you.
Take care.
Never.
I command it.
I refuse.
Look into my eyes.
No.
Look into my eyes.
Let me be.
Into my eyes.
No.
My eyes.
Have pity.
My eyes. The eyes of Dracula.
What do you command?
You see? Resistance is useless.
What can it be? I don't understand. I would have fallen asleep.
Jonathan, what are you doing down here?
He was here. Dracula.
You must return to your room at once, Mr. Harker.
Sit down, you look so weak. Feverish.
I tried to resist his power. I tried. I couldn't.
It's good you're here.
What has happened?
Dracula. I heard his voice.
How is this possible, Miss Anya?
I don't understand it. I heard a murmuring sound like deep water. I became drowsy. I must have fallen asleep. When I awoke, my patient was gone. I figured he may have gone to see Mrs. Harper.
We found him in here.
Dracula said he would have need of my services. Since he can't move about in the daylight, I have to be useful. If you could have seen his eyes, like two tiny red beams of light, I couldn't look away.
The fiend is even more powerful than I imagined.
What are we to do?
I must find his resting place.
Yes, but how?
The coffins. He must return to his native soil in the hour before dawn. He has no power from sunrise to sunset.
I believe I can lead you to his hiding place. I drew up the documents that made Carfax Castle his. He was particularly anxious to know about a ruined chapel that's part of the castle's foundation.
The perfect resting place. Yes, that would appeal to his medieval imagination.
Jonathan is in no condition for such a search.
What does that matter now?
Professor, what will you do if the creatures are in the coffins?
In such a case, we will drive stakes to their cold hearts. Mr. Homewood will remain here, Miss Anya. Tell him where we have gone. He knows what he must do.
But it's useless against vampires.
But not against ghosts.
Here, Mina. This cross, it will protect you.
What's that?
It's the clock striking the hour. The hour of midnight. The hour of the vampire.
Day, the seaside village has been distressed by the disappearance of young women. In all cases, they were found after a night of absence.
Now, I bet that Professor Von Helsing could explain it. Go on, Mrs. Stern. What else?
Not sure I should. It's fluid stuff.
Get on with it.
There's spoken of a pale gentleman who kissed them. was always late evening when the young women are missed, and no harm seems to have come to them apart from a small loss of blood.
Same as Miss Lucy.
All subjects had tiny puncture wounds on their throats. Police believe these to be made by a small animal, and citizens are being warned to stay in their homes at night. The article is headed Seaside Mystery.
Ugh. It's enough to turn your spine to ice.
This other article says the same thing almost, except that a young man swears he knows a mysterious pale lady. What a turn of events. Why am I sitting here talking with you? Aren't you supposed to be with Miss Lucy?
Mr. Holmes was with her, watching her like a hawk.
I for one will be grateful when this whole night is over. Your Professor Van Helsing has turned this place into a weed garden. Garlic placed in vases, tied to doors, rubbed around windows.
Well, Nurse Cassidy says that vampires put their victims into kind of a trance before they attack.
I'll not hear any more of this talk. Suppose after this article, the whole village will be in another stew. I don't know about you, Flora, but I could go for a cup of hot tea and a biscuit.
It's Mr. Renfield again.
Now, Mr. Renfield, you know the rules.
Shut up, you old hag!
I never.
I'm a busy man, very busy.
What's that you're carrying?
Hawthorne Gold was in Wolf Spain.
Oh, you're helping Professor Van Helsing.
No,
You're putting it up.
I'm taking it down.
Fetch Grim.
You'll never catch me again.
Why do you think he's taking it down?
Who can say? Come on, Flora, we'll find Grim and then have our tea.
Good idea.
Tonight, for tonight. Do you wish Mr. Renfield would meet up with a mysterious pale lady?
I don't see how the professor can object, as long as I'm with you.
I can't stay in my room another moment. I'll suffocate.
Yes, I must admit, the smell is overpowering.
Just like living in a locked closet or a hothouse of tropical plants.
You sure you're up to it? Being up and about? You mustn't overdo.
You worry too much about me. Why did the professor insist on every light in the room being turned on? And then to add candlelight?
It's her theory that vampires are repelled by strong illumination.
What a strange idea.
They've been gone for hours.
I hope they come to no harm.
Professor Van Helsing said the hunt could be dangerous.
Arthur.
I should have gone with them.
Arthur.
If any harm does come to them, I'll feel somehow responsible.
Arthur. Here. Sit beside me. I only feel safe in close.
You've nothing to fear.
It will be light soon. A new day. A new beginning.
We can be grateful for that.
You must be exhausted.
I am a little.
Rest.
No,
You must.
I can't.
Listen to the sound of my voice. My voice.
It's so soothing.
Try to sleep. Put all thoughts from your mind. Drift. Feel yourself sinking in a stagnant...
No, Miss Lucy! I advance my eyes! I returned in time.
What's happened?
Dracula! Miss Lucy! She's close to being a creature of the night herself.
No! That's impossible.
Lucy! Lucy!
Have you done it? Have you destroyed the coffins?
All
Wonderful!
but one.
All but one?
We found only 3 of the coffins, side by side.
The resting place of Dracula's wives. They are now powerless.
What of Dracula?
We were not able to find his resting place, but we have one chance left.
What chance? Tell me!
We must find Miss Lucy. She is our concern at the moment.
You will pay for what you have done!
Let me be! Leave me in peace!
I warned you!
Let me be, I say!
Come here, Jonathan Harker.
No!
Do not disobey the will of Dracula. You have dared lead them into my secret chapel. You have helped them destroy the coffins of my wives!
We will find your coffin in time and destroy you!
Never! Die! Die! Die!
Too late, Count Dracula!
You shall be first to die!
I destroyed 3 coffins!
That's mine!
You were advised in returning here.
I claim Miss Lucy as my bride.
She too will be saved.
You know so little. Come! By my side! throughout eternity, bride of the vampire!
Night unto night I will be with you.
Professor Van Helsing, do something!
He can do nothing now. Our fate is sealed.
No, Dracula, your fate is sealed. In coming here, you have spent valuable time. See? The dawn!
You will make it back to Cawthon's castle in time!
I will! I must!
Try to take wing!
The dawn, it's too strong!
Look!
The victory, it's ours!
It was horrible. Like an unseen bolt of lightning struck him. His face, like a melting mask of flesh. I turned and I saw him.
Try not to think of it.
What's my doing down here?
Lucy, you're all right.
I feel so odd.
The terror is over. You'll never be troubled again.
I don't understand. I heard wedding music. We distorted. Oh, I heard right.
You'll be okay. I promise it. We owe much to Professor Van Helsing. She has saved us all.
The dawn. That's what Professor Van Helsing counted on.
Is he dead? Destroyed?
Dracula has turned to dust.
You're playing a tight game of cards, Professor.
I hope this anger will be so fierce he will return here, forgetting the dangers of time in his rage.
Professor, is it truly ended?
You are out of danger, Miss Lucy. We are all out of danger. With his death, his influence over others is gone.
We have survived the curse of Dracula.
Beg pardon, Doctor, I wonder if I may have a word with you.
What is it, Grim?
Well, it's about this dream I had.
Dream?
Yes, so you see, there's very pale ladies, very nice ladies, I'm sure, but they had skin like chalk, eyes like bats, and teeth like daggers. What's everyone staring at me for?